this is Melissa Brannan with the Prize Foundation, and you're with me in the demo kitchen. Before we get started today, I just want to remind you to like, share, and subscribe to the Prizecast. We'll be putting new content out every weekday at noon. Today, I'm going to show you guys how to do a really simple ramen fried rice. Why ramen fried rice? Well, I've got extra leftover rice in my fridge today, and I don't have much more than that. And ramen fried rice is basically a way to stretch when you got barely anything in your pantry. And all you're gonna have to have on hand is ramen, a little leftover rice, and some eggs. And beyond that, you can literally add just about anything to make it your own. So why don't we get started? First things first, I've got my cup of noodles. You can really use any sort of ramen you want, but here we go. First thing you want to do is get this out of here and into a Ziploc bag. So sometimes it doesn't want to cooperate. You gotta really want it. Oh, hey, first try. And all I'm doing right now is kind of mushing up my ramen. And if you turn it on its side like this, you get a little bit more leverage. I have to give it like a hit or two. But here we go. And you don't have to pulverize it. It's no big deal. But what you're basically looking for is to kind of break your ramen up to about rice-sized pieces, right? All right, here we go. Doesn't have to be perfect. And all I'm gonna do is pour it right back in here. All right, everything's in. Now, instead of filling your ramen all the way up to the top, I'm just gonna pour in enough water to cover the noodles. Maybe a little bit extra, but that's all you need. And all it's gonna do is soften these noodles so that they're not hard and crunchy. We're just gonna let that hang out over here, all right? So, what do you put in ramen fried rice besides ramen and leftover rice? Well, you put whatever you got in your fridge. If you have maybe like one piece of leftover chicken, you can chop that up, or you have a little handful or two of vegetables from the night before. Literally, I'm kind of hitting the end of my food right now. So what I've got some frozen peas. I got a carrot, so I'm just gonna chop up a carrot. And again, ramen fried rice is just a way to really stretch your leftovers. And it's also really easy. So it's a way to kind of do stuff that I'm just chopping up this carrot, and it doesn't have to be anything too big. I'm looking for kind of smaller pieces. So kind of want it to be about a 1/4 inch. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. If I had some leftover broccoli, I might chop it up into little pieces, even if it was florets. Or again, if I had a piece of chicken, maybe a little sausage, cube it up, even ham. Whatever is left over. Basically, you want to get it to pieces about this size, all right? So, just pop this in here. All right. Yep. All right, so I've got my carrot. I also have a little bit of scallion. So what else could you put in here? I mean, if I had a little ginger, it'd be delicious, right? A little fresh ginger, a little fresh garlic would be awesome. I don't at the moment. Groceries are tomorrow. But again, just some sliced scallion. And this is something just to add at the finish, give you something a little fresh. If you don't have scallions, it'll be okay, I promise. It's no big deal. I'm gonna go all the way to the end, because why not? I like onion. All right. So, we've got our carrot. I've got some scallion. We have our ramen over here, slowly soaking up all the water. Last thing we're gonna need is some eggs. So since I don't have any other protein, eggs are a great way to add a little bit of protein. I'm guessing most folks have some eggs at their house. And if you don't, it's okay. Again, it's just one thing to kind of round out and bulk out your rice and your ramen. All right, so all I'm gonna do with these guys, give a quick whisk. Just eggs. And literally, that is all we have to do for our prep tonight. So simple. All you gotta do, chop a little bit, whisk some eggs, you need a little leftover rice, and you got your ramen working. All right, so with that, we can start cooking. The first thing I'm gonna do is get my pan nice and hot. I've got it over high heat. I want something nice and wide. This is a 12-inch pan, it's perfect. If you don't have a wok, you don't need a wok for fried rice. You really want something with a lot of surface area. So 12-inch will be perfect. It could be cast iron, it could be nonstick, it could even be stainless, but cast iron and nonstick are gonna help you with your eggs, all right? For now, what I'm gonna do before I do my eggs is I'm gonna cook any raw vegetable. So the carrots, I would definitely have to cook, all right? Waiting for this pan to warm up, all right? So first thing I'll do is add a little bit of fat, a little bit of oil. All right, and for our carrots, they don't need to be cooked all the way, but they do need to be cooked so that they're not quite raw. So you want something that's a little bit crisp, tender. This oil kind of all around. With that, again, just kind of not too soft, not too hard. Here we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop those in there. Give it a little. You can also add just a touch of water to the pan, and that'll help kind of create a little bit of steam and help carry them a little bit faster. They'll cook a little bit more quickly. The other thing I like to do is if I have any sort of like sauce or any extra flavorings, this is a great time to add it. So for me, I got a little sambal tonight. I always have this in my fridge. It's a chili garlic paste, but you can use a different chili garlic paste. It doesn't have to be this one in particular. It's gonna add a little bit of heat and a little bit of garlic since I don't have it. All right. I'm just gonna give these a little toss. And I'm also gonna add just a touch of water. All right. And that water is gonna create a little bit of steam. And that'll also help soften those carrots more quickly. Now, let's say that you had vegetables that were already cooked. Right now, you could just throw these in and get them warmed through. So what I may go ahead and do, just to go ahead and kind of get them on their way, are these peas. They're frozen peas. They've just kind of been hanging out at room temperature. They've defrosted slightly. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw them in here. Again, a little bit of that liquid off of the peas are gonna help steam the carrots some and just kind of warm them through. So while I'm waiting for this, just really quickly, as soon as this is done, we're gonna get to our eggs and our rice. So just kind of waiting right now. I'm also gonna give it just a little bit of salt, a little bit of flavor. And again, lots of peas. So just kind of waiting again for those carrots to go. Okay, so we're about there where our carrots are getting kind of that crisp tender. So they still have a little bit of texture, a little bit of bite, but they're no longer crunchy and raw. And at this point, what you can do is just slide them right over here. Because I have a little bit of sambal in here, I'm just gonna give it a quick wipe. Sometimes you can have some of that sugar, it gets a little bit burned. And now I'm gonna go back and we're gonna get ready to do our eggs, our rice, and kind of finish this dish off. All right, so now we're getting to the fun part. So a little bit more oil. Again, my pan's nice and hot. And what I'm gonna do, just because I have it on hand, I'm gonna give, again, just a little bit different flavor. I have a little bit of toasted sesame oil. Again, you don't need much. Just gives another layer of flavor. But if you don't have any at your house, it's fine. It's not gonna ruin anything, all right? I've got my oil swirling on my pan, and now I'm gonna add my eggs. So at this point, life gets pretty fast. So we're gonna hit our eggs. All right, shouldn't take long for that, all right? And then next, I have my rice. And with the rice, this is day-old rice. So this is rice I had left over from dinner last night. I'm just gonna pop all that in there. All right. And I'm gonna slowly break up that egg, break up any chunks of rice I have in here. All right. And I'm just kind of lightly toasting the egg as well as that rice in my can, all right? We can go ahead and add our vegetables back in. So kind of stirring. And last but not least, we have our ramen. And you can see it's definitely soaked up most of that liquid. Any liquid that is left, you might hear a little bit hit it. We're just gonna finish it out. And use the hot pan to kind of evaporate. All right? Now, everyone knows about how much 1 cup of ramen is gonna feed. I probably could pound that pretty easy. And maybe a cup and a half of rice. But now, you know, something a little bit more significant. And I tell you, if you had another handful of vegetables, or maybe like another handful of some sort of protein, I mean, this is really becoming more significant. Certainly more than we had to start. All right? I don't mind adding just a touch of soy sauce. All right, there we go. And that's it, y'all. So, there we go. And to serve it, there's really not much to it, right? You got a bowl. So, all I'm gonna do right there. There we go. All right, and you can finish it up in all sorts of ways. If you want to go and squirt some sriracha on there, finish it with more soy sauce, maybe a sprinkling of toasted sesame seeds, whatever you got. I mean, gosh, if I had my way, I'd have like little fried garlic chips on top or something delicious like that. All right, so here we go, delightful. And the best part is gonna be getting to try some. So here we go. Of course, it's like super hot. You can see it's steaming right now. And there you go. You can get a little bit of the heat from the sambal, which is great. It's not too spicy. Probably a little spicier than my kids would eat, but they're not here right now, so too bad. And the carrots still have a little bit of that crunch, which is nice. You can get the freshness of the peas and the scallion, get a little bit of that egg, and like, you still get the rice, but you still get that kind of kind of chicken rice or chicken soup flavor from the ramen. So, here's the challenge. We want to see what you do with your ramen fried rice. I know you guys have ramen in your pantry. And if you're like me, you always have a little leftover rice or a little bit of leftovers. So, show us your best, all right? Can't wait to see what you guys come up with. All right, everybody. Just wanted to say thanks again for joining me today. Remember that every day at noon, there'll be new content on the Prize Cast, so make sure to tune in, subscribe, share, like, tell your friends, and you can see all your favorite prize people and many, many more. Look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, viva la prize!